What's up, everybody? It's Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the John Starks to my Patrick Ewing. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I appreciate the basketball reference this week.
I mean, it's basketball's getting back into the swing of things, so we got to start throwing those out.
Our audience can't wait. I can
I
already
know.
tell. How was your week, man?
I mean, not too bad. Pretty busy, and then today it hit us with rain, so we get to do this early.
We do, which is fine by me.
Yeah, though I will say I do have a dog on my bed right now, and she is awful scared. So if I have to get up and like hold her, I apologize.
What if I get scared?
I mean, you have to talk to Brielle. I can't make that drive.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, let's hop into our news. We have more than we did last week, which is not saying much because last week was just abysmal. So
Yeah,
I think you do have one or two more than me. So if you want to go ahead.
sure, man. Yeah, we'll start. This isn't really much news related, but Walking Phoenix did get asked about a Joker sequel, and he said he's like there's more stuff that we could explore. Like he's an interesting character, but he really didn't know if they would. It really kind of sounded like I don't think this is a thing I want to do. It's like there's stuff there, but I'm not interested in it. But he just kind of was more polite than that, which it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I mean, the I get it with someone like him, why he doesn't do sequels. Why would he want to do one for that?
right. I mean, I still haven't seen it, so it's whatever. It may deserve one. It may be fine on its own. I don't
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those movies that you would have loved before you read comic books.
know. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because some of the people that come into the shop and say that they love Joker, it's pretty clear that they don't read comic
yeah,
books.
and it's like, and as I watched it, I've kind of went through like a film snob stage in my life where like I saw other movies that this movie stole from and did it better. So it's like I've seen Taxi Driver, I've seen what's the other one? Oh, I'm blanking on the name now. But there's another movie that it stole a lot from, and it's just like, oh, it's these two movies combined with the Joker instead.
Okay. Well, speaking of film and show things, Agatha Harkness might be getting a Disney Plus spinoff. I'm not really sure who's asking for it, but according to sources, unnamed sources, the series would be a dark comedy written and executive produced by WandaVision head writer Jock Schaefer. Marvel Studios has not commented, and when Schaefer and Han were asked about it, none of them said anything. So who knows? This could just be complete crap.
It could be a lot of fun. It was kind of funny though in our notes when I saw that and you put D plus instead of Disney plus. I was like, dang, is he rating this already?
Yep.
It's like,
No,
I
I
mean,
mean, I honestly loved WandaVision. So like if it were that tone, I think it'd be pretty great. But
and I loved her in it
yeah,
100%.
no,
She
she
was
was great.
hilarious, and her theme song, Agatha All Along, was one of my favorite parts.
Right. It's just like, is this really something that's being considered? And I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because Loki got his own show, and since they're able to do these shows, it's like they're not going to do a movie with her, but if they can do shows, probably.
Yeah, fair enough.
But while we're on the subject of Marvel related stuff, Marvel Studios, one of the people that worked on the What If shows, he was saying that they were going to make a Star-Lord T'Challa spin-off series. But since Chadwick passed away, he's like, can't do it now. It's like, well, did we really need this bummer news, dude? And
I don't really know if we needed that show in general.
I don't think we did. I think it might have been one of those things where Chadwick was like, "Oh, I'm good with like this is just me guessing. I have no knowledge, but I bet at the time Chadwick was like, I can keep doing this voiceover work And, because I'm not doing well otherwise, so I can keep doing this voiceover work and we can do a whole show of this. And they're like, that sounds great. Here's money, Chadwick, that type of thing.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have been surprised about that. And then while we're on the subject of Black Panther, this is just another thing that kind of popped up that has been going around. The Shuri actress Letitia Wright has been reportedly saying lots of anti-vaccine stuff on the set of Wakanda Forever. So everyone's like, oh, man, no, she can't be Black Panther. We don't get Shuri as Black Panther. It's like, just recast her if she's bothering people that much. If people are getting so upset about this stuff, just recast her. That's all you have to do. It worked with War Machine. It worked with the Hulk. It's not that serious, guys.
I mean, is it like bothering everybody on set?
That's the way it sounded. And it's also like, so if she's, I mean, it's like the same thing as the Kyrie Irving type of thing. Like if she's not vaccinated and then she's on set and, depending on how big of a douchebag she is being about that, because there's some people out there that aren't vaccinated and they're like, I'm going to get right in people's faces because I don't care. Like I see that in Shelbyville anyway. And so it's like, if she's doing that type of crap, then it's like, yeah, you don't really need to be on set, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what can you say that isn't going to make someone upset one way or the other?
Yeah, and it's really just kind of like, this got leaked for a reason. I don't know if there's just one person has an axe to grind against her, or if it's like everyone's just getting so annoyed with it. But it's still just kind of like, it's weird.
Right. Well, hey, continuing our movie talk, I really don't know who asked for this other than our mutual friend Mike, but there is a Prophet movie coming out from Jake Gyllenhaal and Sam Hargrave. I know Prophet is an Image title, and Mike said that it was really good, but only after Rob Liefeld was off of it, which makes total sense. But, obviously, Rob Liefeld is being incredibly like annoying about it and just, I made it. Hey, everybody, I'm going to comment on every social media post you see and let you know that I created this. Even though, just like Deadpool, nobody gave a crap about it until after he had nothing to do with it.
So what you're saying is we should make the title of this podcast like Rob Liefeld is making a profit off Prophet or something like that so that he'll comment on it.
No, because I don't know if Rob has anything better to do, and he'd probably listen to this and then just rip it apart.
I mean, I'll say this. Hey, Rob, I love you. So now there we go. He'll be like, this Jake is an idiot, but Casey, he sounds awesome.
I have nothing against him as a person. He's probably great.
I mean, he seems very charismatic, almost cult leader like at the cons.
Right. It's all those pouches. He puts something in the pouches that he sells.
I didn't even know he sold pouches. Does he actually? Because I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, dude. The year that Artgerm was at C2E2, Rob's booth was set up because Artgerm was in row A of Artist Alley, and right outside was Rob's booth. And so I sat there for a good 45 minutes waiting for Artgerm, just watching a whole bunch of stuff go down at Rob's booth, and he had just tables full of pouches that he was signing.
Nice. That's pretty awesome, actually. That's some like carny stuff that you'd see like pro wrestlers do. Like that's pretty great.
Yeah. So I mean, more power to him, I guess, if people are buying it.
All right. So there was a Peacemaker clip that came out. Did you see that?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, it actually came out Monday after we recorded the last podcast. It has me not excited about the show. Like I wasn't excited before, and it hasn't changed anything.
Okay.
It's Why? Just because it's John Cena trying, like, he's like, I'm very serious and I'm a good actor. Look at me. I swear. I'm good. I'm delivering these lines. I'm very funny. This is going to be silly. And I just can't stand him. I just can't stand him. Like he's terrible.
He was absolutely fine in the movie.
I was just like, my God. Just hate him.
I mean, I get it. If they were like, hey, we're doing a Captain Boomerang show starring Jai Courtney, I'd be like, absolutely not. But, whatever. Let's see here. I'll talk about some comics now. Apparently, there is a potential Elsa Bloodstone miniseries that could be happening after her Death of Doctor Strange spinoff. Um, she's got just the one shot, I think, and that's going to be written by Teenie Howard and art by Ig Guara. And then I know she's got like a variant for that issue as well, or something, or like for one of the Doctor Strange issues. So um, people are thinking that she's going to get a mini series. And I know she's had like one or two over the years, so it's probably, and since they used her in Black Knight, it's probably time that she got another one. And thank God it's written by Teenie Howard and not Cy Spurrier. Otherwise, she'd just be like, orphans serves them right, and then flips the bird and like walks out of the room.
Yeah, no, I mean that could be really exciting. I do like Teenie Howard, and Elsa as a character I've always thought was pretty dang cool. Like there's nothing about that character you can be like, nah, I really don't like, women characters that shoot guns and hunt monsters. That's pretty lame to me. Yeah.
Right. It's literally like
an 80s movie.
Redhead Van Helsing, right?
Yeah. This is like this is something that you would be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go see the Elsa Bloodstone movie that they're remaking from the 80s. Like that's something that 100% would have been a thing.
I wish it were. I'm
surprised it's not.
Yeah. It's funny because along those same lines, I was kind of like, I want to watch the 80s Red Sonja movie, which I've never seen, but everybody says is not good. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just want to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard to find too, isn't it?
Probably. I mean, I've never seen it streaming anywhere. Maybe it's on YouTube or something.
Yeah. Check the new releases at Walmart. Maybe it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if he's still doing this, but I just thought this was kind of interesting. If you got a lot of money in your pocket that you want to burn, Doc Shaner is selling some Convergence Shazam pages because his tablet died. They look amazing, but he even said, I don't want to part with these. I just need money for my new tablet. So it's like the prices are high, but they're awesome. High? I mean, there's one page that was over $1,000.
I mean, I get it. If it's something you don't want to part with, you're like, if someone's going to pay it, I'll let it go.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny because, like, I guess Phil Hester, I think it was Phil Hester. I think he must collect Shazam art, like original art. And then, like, as soon as that happened, he's like, I'm listening. And then Peter Krause was like, a live look from Phil Hester right now. And it's I think it was Wanted, like, where he's like, hey, he's all sweaty.
That's awesome. I once bought a Flash page from Phil Hester that was very affordable and amazing. So it's funny to see him be on the other side of it. What else do I have here? Oh, so Casey, I know you're excited about this because you tweeted it.
Yeah.
Tweeted it. I can't even talk today on our Twitter, which is at 2_worlds_PC, right?
Yep.
Brian K. Vaughan at New York Comic Con officially announces Saga's return in January of 2022. On a scale from 1 to 10, Casey, how excited are you?
Man, the fact that I have to keep it like at a 10, even though it's immeasurable. Like the way that last issue ended and the way that he ended that, knowing he was going to take 2 years off, like 3 years off. And it's like, my God, this next issue better be the best dang thing out there. So, I mean, I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. And the cover looked crazy, like the characters that were in it. So, yeah, it's just going to be great.
So here's my question for you. Has it been too long and are hopes going to be too high?
I don't think so. I mean, being an early adapter of this book and being here since the beginning, I've loved everything so far. I mean, even the things that I hated that he did, I still love, if that makes sense. So, and I'm
at all.
Well, like let's just say killing certain characters, I hate it, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, I
Oh,
hate this because he's
yeah.
a good writer, you know?
It makes sense
So
when you put it like that.
yeah, it's like everything. Like I said, I love everything about this book. It's gonna be great. It's just like, man, I wish it wasn't so long. And I'm still calling it right now. This book, it's either Hazel wrote a book and it's her telling this story, or it's Hazel telling her life story before she gets killed.
Yeah, I could see either of those for sure. But I agree with you. It's going to be great. I think that Fiona's art that she posted of that cover is cool. I wonder, like, is it going to start up right where that ended, or is it going to be like after the fact where, maybe Alana's not doing so hot, you know?
I bet you it's gonna be a good bit later. I mean, since they took 3 years off, and in that picture, Hazel looks older than she did in the other, and Alana looks weird and looks like there's a new character, and so it's like, I bet you they've aged past that, you know.
Yeah. Okay, on to you.
All right, man. So, Scott Lobdell, Brett Booth, and Andrew Dahlhaus are coming together for a new series launching on Kickstarter in October 12th. They're all Lobdell originals, but Brett Booth does the designs. The characters look really cool. I personally have no interest because I've never been a big Lobdell fan. You, though, have actually liked some of his stuff, and I know you're a bigger Brett Booth fan too. So, is there any interest on your end, or is there even any interest from a shop perspective of picking these books, like getting the I don't know if I didn't look at the Kickstarter, but if there was anything like, oh, this will sell.
No, not even a little bit. Um, I liked Scott Lobdell at a time where I didn't know what good comics were.
I didn't know if it was also just like early on in New 52, there was a lot of stuff that was working, but then it just went too long. So I didn't know if that was also like the early Scott was
I
better than the
mean,
later.
let's be real. Even writers that you don't like, there are good bits of comics, right? You've said it
Yeah.
with Al Ewing, Tom Taylor, maybe even Tom King has a couple. Probably not, but maybe.
Vision was good, except for like the part where the one minority character he had in it, he made a drug addict and killed. It was a bit
Okay.
weird, but
Well,
that's a CIA guy thing, I guess.
that's a Tom King thing. But anyway, so there were good moments. It's just looking back at it now, it's clear that I just stuck with it because I love Kenneth Rocafort more than most
And
other
Jason.
artists. Well, and Jason, I love Jason.
Yeah.
Well, I love all
Because,
of them. I love
yeah.
Red Arrow. I love Corey. So, you know, uh, I don't think it has much to do with Scott Lobdell. And
All right, man.
to say anything good about him now, I can't because I haven't read anything since then.
Yeah.
Brett Booth is great, and I'm sure it'll look great, whatever it is, but there's no way I'm going to do any sort of like retailer thing to get these books in my
All
shop
right.
because I don't care. And
Yeah.
also, Scott Lobdell seems like a garbage person after hearing
That's
some of the sexual assault things I've
that's
heard.
the things, yeah. That's
So,
why he's doing a Kickstarter, it sounds like.
yeah, because he can't. Who would hire or let him publish through them? So,
Dude, this is off subject, but this is, I mean, like, the Brett Booth character designs are amazing. Like, that's one thing. Brett Booth, if you want a character to look cool, have him design it. Like, is there any character that you think that he could design a costume for that wouldn't look better outside of like Jay Garrick because he can't, fix perfection?
one that he wouldn't do well.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, in my head, like, remember those two characters that didn't catch on because they had the worst costumes and the worst name, the Safe Space and Snowflake? Like, if Brett Booth designed their costumes, he could have made them awesome.
Right. Well, okay. I don't know if he did this or not. Do you remember the New 52 series, The Ravagers?
Vaguely.
Because there was I'm gonna have to look this up real quick. Who did the covers of those? Oh, it was Ian Churchill. Never mind. I thought it was him at first, but there were a few on there. I mean, they're all just wearing like skin tight bodysuits with different color like Tron lights.
Was that the book that was like supposed to take place earlier? It had like Like I mean, like pre a lot of the other stuff, and didn't have like a young Deathstroke on it, and like Steve Trevor and people like that.
No,
Or am I
you're
thinking of a
thinking
different
of
one?
that had like a number in the team. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
you're
about.
right.
But this had Thunder, Lightning, Terra, Red Beast Boy, someone
Oh
called
yeah,
Ridge, and then Fairchild. But Fairchild was the only one not in a Tron suit. She was just in like a bikini.
yeah. Of course, the red Beast Boy was like one of the stupidest things New 52 did, and they did a lot of stupid things.
Yeah. Yeah, not like nothing about that worked. And like one of the best things is that on the cover of the debut issue, they put Thunders, like everyone's labeled on the cover. They put Thunder next to Lightning and Lightning next to Thunder. I mean, just everything that could have
Uh,
gone wrong went wrong with this.
I mean, I think that was kind of New 52, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a handful of amazing New 52 series,
No, I
but
mean there is, but it's still everything that could go wrong with the New 52 happened,
yeah,
in my
that's true.
opinion. Like editorial, friggin' writing, and all that nonsense.
Yeah. Oh, what it was is Brett Booth did the 1 in 25 variant for #1. So at least I was in the right ballpark, but still,
Yeah,
like, there's only so much you can do with like Tron suits on on like new characters because I don't know if Ridge was around before then. But anyway, there's my answer for you. What
I
about you?
gotcha. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think he can pull off about anything. The only thing that maybe would give him trouble would be like Our Man, like any of these like older school designs where it's like his style would not gel as well with. But I
Our
mean,
Man is
heck,
perfection.
he like he made a costume for a character that Scott Lobdell ruined in Bunker. So it's like he could do anything. Like Bunker looks so dang cool, and it's like, man, why is he so lame?
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. All right, let's see what else do I have here. Oh, Aquaman is getting his blue costume back whenever he comes back to comics next year. I don't know if it's January or when he's coming back, but there will be a new Aquaman comic series, and he's getting his stealth blue suit back as well.
Boy, way to make me not excited about a book. That thing is the ugliest dang costume, I swear.
He didn't like the white swirls that look like
No,
waves.
not at all. What are
Well,
you
hey,
like?
what if Brett Booth is designing it though?
It might be good. He might be able to make that good.
Yeah.
You you like looking forward to that? Are you gonna be like, now I can finally break out my blue stealth suit to cosplay Aquaman?
I mean, I don't care unless like the creative team is good, and I'm not
Yeah,
sure if that's been announced yet. But anyway, that's happening.
I got you, man. So something that they might have like Marvel might have accidentally leaked Blade's coming out date. So the Marvel India posted the coming Marvel movies with dates, including Blade for October 22nd, 2022, not October 22nd. That'd be way too soon, but October 2022. And then apparently they got yelled at, and the post had to get deleted because they haven't announced that what year Blade is supposed to come out yet officially. So now everyone's like, this is a thing, and they screenshotted it and everything. So just thought that was kind of fun.
It is, but it's like, is it the worst thing that that's leaked? Are they like, crap, now we can't have it come out then? You
I
know?
know. It's like, man, everyone just assumed it was going to come out in October in a couple of years, no matter, since it is a spooky movie and it's spooky month. But, whatever. We were going to try, for that nice Valentine's Day Blade movie instead.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's silly.
I think that movie's going to make a surprising amount of money.
Dude, I've always loved Blade since the trilogy. We've talked about it before, but like what's his name? Marshala Ali, is that how you say
Yeah,
it?
I think so.
I think he's gonna be excellent. So I'm stoked no matter what about that movie.
Yeah.
All right, and then my last bit of news. So heard a little more about massive setbacks at DC due to the global printer and paper problems. The quote from DC was this: DC faces an unprecedented strain on the global supply chain, affecting all of us in the comics industry and beyond. Up to this point, we've been able to keep delays and shortages to a minimum, but with recent notifications about COVID-related port closures, international and domestic freight delays, workforce shortages, and severely allocated paper supply, we are unable to continue to manage the situation without disruption. Please know that we are doing everything we can to keep a steady supply of product coming through the system until the supply chain strains begin to ease. But based on current industry feedback, the situation is likely to continue for several more months. And I know that they delayed like some oversized books and like omnibuses. They were like, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to put these out soon. So if you were excited for any omnibuses, then I apologize on behalf of DC. I don't know why, I just am. And then, I mean, there was like a huge list of stuff that got bumped back. Even if it's just like a week or two, there's like 10 or 15 books that were announced that got pushed back.
Does that have you pretty worried, man? As a shop owner?
I don't know. I don't know. It's too early to, it hasn't really hit us yet. So who's to say? I mean, it's not like, as of right now, it's not like there's just going to be no comics coming in.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to be maybe the releases won't be as heavy on certain weeks. You know, that just means that the bill isn't so high either, you know?
Yeah, no, I got you, man. Okay, so my last bit of news, and this is kind of the hot news that popped up, a couple hours ago. DC has confirmed that John Kent is bisexual, as advanced art shows him kissing the new character Jay Nakamura, aka pink-haired dude. So, any thoughts on this?
Gosh. Well, the first thought that comes to mind is how many people are going to come into the shop complaining about a book that they don't read anyways. But if I'm honest, the cynic in me is like, oh, they didn't get the reaction they wanted with Tim, so now they're like making sure people talk about it. Because here's the difference. With the Tim thing, it was just like somebody at a shop got their books for Tuesday on a Friday and read the books early and was like, oh my gosh, Tim's got a boyfriend or is going out with this boy. And that's pretty much all it went. With the John thing, DC Comics sent out an official email to my store and other stores that was like, hey, everybody, on November 9th, this issue of Son of whatever, Kal-El, John is bisexual. And here's the variant cover with him kissing this boy. So it's like, okay.
I mean,
they wanted people to talk about it this time.
That's 100% what Marvel does too, though. So I mean, I think they're
finally,
they're like learning. They're like, oh, we can sell more if we spoil things. Okay.
Yeah. No, they're just. It's like, do you guys really care about diversity? I think so.
I 100% think Tom Taylor does, and I think it was his idea. And I think then it's one of those things where it's like, I think Tom Taylor down here was like, hey guys, I want to do this, and DC's like, how much money we can make? Okay, do it.
Right.
So I think that's what it kind of boils down to. Like, my main thing that's gonna annoy the heck out of me is when people like the ship people are like, oh, I don't like him with Nakamura. He needs to be with his one true love, Damian. Because those people exist. And it's just like, I'm like, guys, they're fake. Don't stop this. It's creepy. It's weird. I hate it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, y'all are adults on the internet yelling about who this character should be dating.
Yeah. The Tumblrites are out in full force over this for sure. And like a lot of the comments and stuff that I'm seeing, I think people are just confusing the term bisexual for straight up gay.
Yeah.
because it's like, guys, Tom Taylor's probably gonna kill this boyfriend. Like, let's be real. So whenever the boyfriend dies, John can then just date a girl,
Yeah, and
like,
then she'll die
and then
because the
she'll
boyfriend came
die.
back to life, and then he can date the boyfriend again.
So
See,
yeah,
that is one thing though. Like that character did such a 180 in like I think it was 3 issues or 2 issues. It's like the first issue, he's like this mysterious, like, I'm wearing my hood, you can't see me, I'm introducing myself though, like guy. And then the next issue, he's like, oh, Lois Lane, I can't talk to her. It's like, my goodness, dude. Like, you've changed so much in the span of an issue.
right. Also, maybe it's just me, but I think it's kind of hokey that they're like, well, Superman fell for a reporter, so now
Yeah.
John is too. It's
Yeah.
like, come
Yeah.
on.
But
Whatever.
man, I mean, if you look at Future State, he's 100% dead since they're going off of Future State stuff. He wasn't in that at all.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's almost like Philip Kennedy Johnson had no idea this was going to happen, right?
But no, I mean, I think this is one of those things that's like, it's going to get them publicity, and that's what DC wants. So that's going to be good for them, because then that means more money for you guys, right? The shop owner.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to like order 1,000 extra copies of this book, so I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be like, I have the first appearance of Jay Nakamura, who is John Kent's first boyfriend before he died in 3 issues. Like, it doesn't matter. I was chatting earlier today with a friend of the podcast, Edna. A little shout out to you about this. And she was telling me that one comment she saw, let me find it really quick. Somebody, I don't know, somebody was like, I hope Batman snaps John's neck, because they thought that John being bi was so disgusting. And it's like, okay, first of all, Batman's not strong enough to do that. And second of all, just don't buy the book if you don't like it. Like, that's all you have to do.
It's like Batman snaps his neck in this guy's universe, and then Tim's like, I'm not going to tell him I'm bi at all.
I know, right? It's like, dude, are you that upset that you're like, I hope Batman kills this kid? It's like, dude, you're a joke.
Yeah, like, I mean, the only thing that I saw people like complain about, like the main thing I saw people complain about that I was like, oh yeah, that's a fair argument, is that he never should have been aged up in the first place. And I'm like, yeah, I think everyone agrees with that. I bet you dollars to donuts, even Tom Taylor would agree with that. But the only person that disagrees is Bendis.
I know. I mean, they had a perfect thing going with Super Sons.
Yeah.
Even today, I'm still like, anytime kids come in and want something DC and I show them Super Sons, they're immediately like, I want that. It's like, you guys could have kept that going. This could have been the kids book for you.
In all fairness, they do keep it going, but now, I'm less like, oh, I really want to read this, even though there's no continuity there.
Right. I don't know. Whatever. I think they just did it so that people like us and, a news site will mention it on, the 8:00 news, and people chat about it for a day or two.
Yeah.
It's like when Cap joined Hydra, or, was a Hydra agent or whatever,
Yeah. I think that made Fox News for a little bit. They're talking about how, Marvel Comics was trying to turn us all evil or something.
Yeah. It's like, oh, really? News anchor? Tell me about all the Captain America comics you've read and how much you really care about this.
Really quick, I have a hilarious thing that was going around on Twitter. It was a video clip of like a local news channel. And she was like, you remember Superman's old catchphrase, with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, man, I bet she got absolutely roasted alive for that.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Like, every single, like, just comic creators kept retweeting it, laughing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, is that everything then?
That is everything, man.
All right. Well, guys, we'll take a quick ad break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the comics that we read this week. So we'll be right back. Casey, any story this week? Because I've got
Not,
one if you don't.
I do not. So, story away.
I actually texted you about this on Friday. A horrifying thing happened at my shop. So there I am, Casey. I'm sitting at my desk right before open, getting the register ready and all that jazz. And my lights fell out of my ceiling. And it scared the shit out of me, if I'm honest.
I bet.
Thankfully, myself, or more importantly, a customer was not standing underneath of them when it happened, and it happened before open. But I saw it happen and I stood up and just like stared at it for like a few seconds. And I was just like, I don't even know what to do about this.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so glad that people weren't in there when it happened, man. So glad.
That could have been terrible. What is like? Did you talk to your landlord? Did they, were you able to prove that it was because of leaky roof or anything like that it fell out?
I don't really want to get into all that.
Okay,
I will
sorry.
just say, no, it's fine. I'll just say that a friend of myself in the store who is very handy was able to come in and help me clean it up, and then Saturday morning hooked me up with some new lights and fixed it. So we've got lights in there again, which is nice. And we've been meaning to change the lights for a while. It's just like I didn't want it to be under these circumstances.
Yeah. Now, I do have another question. How hard was it getting all of the glass out? Because that stuff is just like anytime I've ever had anything shatter, I'm always like days later, like even after I vacuum and I sweep, I'm like, oh, I just stepped in glass.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The bulbs, there were a lot of like smaller pieces, but honestly, like a couple of the bulbs like stayed in the fixture
Oh, that's good.
somehow. Um and like not even any like books or my bins or anything got damaged, which was nice. It like missed the bins and just hit the floor. So I'm hoping I don't go through those boxes and find too many pieces of glass. I think I got it all, but man, it was absolutely just bonkers.
Someone's gonna be like coming up to you like, yeah, I was digging through the dollar bin and I was wondering how much is this glass I found? Like it's $1 a piece.
And it's like sticking out of his hand.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, you can just have it. It's on the house. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for listening to the ad. And if you'd like to hear me tell a little story about something catastrophic that happened at comic headquarters this week or last week, you can check us out on the YouTube, which is just Two Worlds Podcast, and listen to that little scary story. Right? It's October. Something spooky happened.
It was dang near harrowing, as Roger Ebert would say.
All right, Casey, what comics did you read this week?
Okay, so I read Crushin' Lobo, number 5 of 8. Oof, 8. That was 6. Dark Ages, number 2. The Nice House on the Lake, book 5. Spider-Man, number 75. Batman 114. Are You Afraid of Darkseid? One shot. Wonder Woman 80th anniversary. And that's it. What about you?
Oh, let's see here. And I was pulling my books out of bags and boards, so I expect you to listen to what I said and let me know what we read mutually.
I already know what we read mutually. I saw the Instagram post.
Oh, okay. So I've got the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary. Are You Afraid of Darkseid one shot? Batman 114. Arkham City Order of the World number 1. Darkhold Alpha. Seven Swords number 4. Hath No Fury number 1. And Apex Legends Overtime number 3.
Nice. What order do you want to read Batman, Are You Afraid of Darkseid, and Wonder Woman in?
Which one did you like the most?
I maybe the Darkseid one.
Let's do that. It's themed
all right.
anyways. Let's
Yeah.
do the seasonal book last.
All right.
And because it is the Hour Man Comics Hour Spectacular, I will be starting the timer right now. Did I have more than you? Should I go first?
It sounded like you did. I didn't count.
Okay. I'll be quick about some of these because honestly, a lot of them weren't great.
Okay.
So we've got Apex Legends Overtime, number 3. And this is written by Jesse Stern and Tom Casiello. Oh, and Manny Hagopian? That's a lot of people for not a great story. And then the pencils are done by Neil Edwards. Sorry, I'm being snarky for no reason. So like my biggest complaint about the last couple issues is that none of it tied into the issue before. And this was mostly the same until the very end, where like the groups that we've been following all kind of see each other and group up just in time for, I guess, the bad guy to blow everything to heck. And that's where it ends. So I'm guessing since there's only one more issue, all the characters of Apex will team up and fight somebody. I don't know. It's weird because some of the legends are fighting amongst themselves. So I don't really know what's going to happen. It was an okay story. I just wanted a lot more because of how much I love this game. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10.
I got you, man. I'm sorry you're not enjoying it as much as you wanted to.
It happens.
Speaking of things I didn't enjoy as much as I wanted to, Crushing Lobo, 5 of 8. So this is by Mariko Tamaki with Amike Nalupan on the art, and I do like the art, but it's still like they really should not have called this and Lobo, though. I mean, if it was just a Crush book, I don't think anyone would buy it. But yeah, Crush has a bunch of like lizards attack her, but then it's like, fun fact though, the big craziest thing about these space lizards is they love me. And so then they all like licked her face, and then she's like, hey guys, and then she chased them, had them chase the guy that sicked them on her, and then she finds out where Lobo was, and then she goes to this place, and it's like where one of Lobo's ladies is, and he was shacking up with her.
Did she know these lizards prior?
No, it's just all space lizards love her. It's apparently one of her powers.
Oh.
Yeah. And then she keeps getting texts from like her ex-girlfriend that broke up with her because she was a superhero is sending her text messages is like, oh, I sure do miss you. It's like, this isn't like, you're the one that ended it. So what's the deal there? And so she's still just looking for Lobo and found out where he's going to be at. And Lobo's at a casino drinking and eating. So it's like, he's not
Sounds
doing
like Lobo.
much. Yeah, it's like, he's not really doing much in this book so far. It's very much just Crush with a little bit of Lobo. So I'm not really.
You think
just not
they did that
this.
on purpose? You think
100%? They're like, yeah, 100%. Which it's so weird because it's like, make it Crush and Batman then if you're trying to sell books. Like, come on. But so the DC Comics Twitter page was like, because there's a part where Crush is eating cookies, and they're like, she's absolutely crushing those cookies. What's your favorite part of Crush and Lobo number 5? And so here's 2 tweets I just want to read because they both made me laugh. So Kev 30884 on Twitter goes, not the price, it's too expensive to but single issue now. Much prefer to wait for the graphic to come to eBay. Why can't you get rid of all management and focus on writers and artists? Comics back in the day didn't have all those managers on high salaries. Put fans first.
But sir, you're going to eBay for the graphic novel.
Yeah, I really like. I'm like on the verge of commenting on this. Like, do you think this is gonna help anything? Like, why did you waste so much time, sir? And then this person, his name is Doomsday Picnic. He's like, the total lack of surprise that a Mariko Tamaki comic should be mainly about miserable people gorging themselves on snacks and self-pity. And that really made me laugh. But yeah, this one didn't really do it for me. I'm gonna give it probably I'm at about a 4. Like, like I said, I was kind of surprised that it was a 8-issue series. I really thought it was a 6. I was like, yeah, it's about done.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Will you stick out the 8 issues, though, is the question.
I mean, if there's a demand for it on this podcast, gosh darn, I'm gonna do it.
What if the demand is from me?
if they want you to do it, I mean, you got to.
Oh man. All right. I kind of like this little trend we've got going of stuff that wasn't very good. So next, I'm going to talk about Half No Fury #1. This is put out by Action Lab Comics. And I just ordered this for myself because I was filling out the FOC and this was the cover. And I was like, well, that looks like something that I'd like. I like fantasy and
you're like, I hate Fury, so if there's none of that in here, perfect.
Yeah, I have no Fury. But anyway, this is by Steph Cannon and Luke Martinez and art by Judd Abenewman. And so there's like 2 clans, kind of Viking-ish / just like, I don't know. One's more like a group of knights and the other is like Vikings. And both societies are like heavily matriarchal. So one is like actual Viking times where the men and women were, I mean, not like actual Viking times, because I won't say they were equal, but women were more equal to Vikings than in other time periods where they could go to war and, they weren't just baby making machines.
Weren't they also allowed to divorce too? Like,
yeah,
that was an actual thing.
Yeah. And, when they could dismember you, it's like, yeah, okay, I guess they should probably have the same things. Anyway, yeah, and then the other clan, which made no sense to me at all. They were like, the women are the warriors and the men stay at home and care for the children, but the women take the babies into war with them so that they can breastfeed them and stuff. And I was like, what? Anyway,
I picture them looking like, when you have like a marsup, like a possum, it has like the little possums hanging on the teats, just right. Like that, but they're like killing people.
Oh man. Anyway, both of these clans somehow discover the location of this book. And this book is going to give the reader all this power, which will then put their clan at the top of the food chain, if you will. But on their way there, they both run into a third clan of sexist men, and the leader just makes a bunch of nasty comments, and everybody starts fighting, and the 2 leaders of the lady clans go to get the book. But then the man does some sort of magic spell which teleports only those 2 leaders, even though it's a big wide battlefield full of people. Only the 2 leaders get transported away into like a forest. And they're just bickering back and forth. And then they're like, well, I guess we got to team up if we want to get out of this alive. But they go from bickering to, well, shut up, we got to work together, like 3 times. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's like we see it once. It's like, okay, it's a trope, but you got to do it, right? But then they bicker and say, well, we got to work together, so let's stop. And then they start bickering again and say it again. It's like, what? We don't need this.
Yeah.
And also the whole thing is just, I don't know, man. Maybe this just isn't written for me. And if that's the case, that's fine. But the whole thing is just like, women should be equal to men. And obviously I agree and you agree, but that's the only thing that is said in this whole book over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, if you guys just would have said that once at the beginning and set the tone for the book, and then gotten on with the story and like where this magic is coming from and what this book is going to do, then this would have been a way better first issue. And maybe they will explain all that in later issues, but I'm not going to find out because I couldn't
Yeah.
stand how this was done. It was such a chore to finish this without just setting it down and saying, I don't need to know how this goes.
Yeah.
I liked the art. The art was really good. The character designs were great. I love the armor. But man, this is like a 2 out of 10 for me. I just really kind of hated it because the message they were trying to put across, they did not do it in a great way, in my opinion.
I got you, man. So, but hey, if like enough people can say, Jake, please keep reading this and get Casey on board, I guess we'll have to, because we're a democracy around here.
We are.
So, not to keep on the trend of hating books, this is actually one I liked. Spoiler alert. Next up will be Dark Ages #2, and this is by Tom Taylor and Ivan Coelho. Maybe that's how you say his name on the art. And in typical Tom Taylor fashion, characters die on the first pages. Look, you get old Tasky and Hawkeye and some Shield agents. But then, hey, we get some world building. Everyone's peaceful and it's all nice and everything's connected via telepaths. Global warming's fixed. It's all wonderful. And then
sounds like a Tom Taylor book.
It's like, if only we didn't have any technology and superheroes, we would be just so perfect. But no, it's pretty neat. Like, so since it's all dark, like there's no technology, it's so much darkness, vampires and werewolves have actually become like a major pest problem. So like they're outside the cities and like they have, basically werewolf hunting groups. And in this town, it's X-23 Wolverine, her sister, like her clone sister, who would be basically another Wolverine, Elsa Bloodstone, and Blade. And so like the two Wolverines, the sister one, she takes some stakes and puts it in her, so she's got these stabby stakes. And then Laura, she puts her adamantium claws in like silver, like melted silver, so then it hardens over her claws. It's such a like genius, well thought out idea. And so then he does like so much world building, kind of explains everything that happened. And then you also see the bad guys in this one, and it explains why in the last issue, like these characters that aren't normally bad are siding with Apocalypse. I'm not going to give that away, but I thought that was super cool. And so the thing that really just annoys me about this series, and this is like, part of me thinks it's an editorial thing, part of me thinks it's just Tom Taylor probably really he might have grew up reading Spider-Girl and he just likes May Parker. It might be one of those two things, but it's like the main character, like the person that's our main person is Peter Parker. And it's like, do we need another event headed up by Peter Parker? That's the main thing that annoys me about this, but otherwise, I really like it. I think everyone should be reading it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would much rather read X-23 dipping her claws in silver than Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like he's basically right now just the narrator. Like I do think 100% he's going to die and then May's going to take over. Like I 100% think that's what's going to happen. Because partially it's because it's a Tom Taylor book, but It's just like, I think he's hoping this book's going to last like Injustice or Deceased did, where it's like, 3 to 4 years worth of stuff.
I feel like I really need to read some Deceased or Injustice because people speak so highly of it, and I'm just not digging anything that he's doing right now. So it's like maybe those would change my mind.
I mean, I think just from the stuff I've seen, and I've said this before, it's like this is like really interesting world building stuff with this one. And it's like kind of like he gets to use these characters in ways that you can't normally use them. But then that also means he gets the cheap, like, oh, I'm feeling something here by killing them. It's like people are like, oh, this is so good. I almost cried over this. Like you cried because these other writers made you care about these characters a lot. And then now he gets to kill them. Like that's what this boils down to.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Okay, next I will talk about Seven Swords. This was written by Evan Doherty and art was done by Federico Delosio. Oh boy. do not care for this series anymore. Um, at the very least, there's not a hey everybody, remember this character likes to have sex with everybody joke like they've done in every other issue. Um, but anyway, the Seven Swords gather and they come up with this plan to sneak into the Vatican and get like there's like the secret vault that everyone thinks is just a myth that holds the blade, the actual blade to this sword, where if the bad guy gets it and like reforges it, will bring eternal darkness to the world or whatever. So they come up with this plan where they're like, if this vault exists, it will be here, and here's how we'll get there. And they do that. But then, like, one of the characters does something stupid and ruins it for everybody. And everybody gets captured after they find out that the vault is there and the blade is real. And then, spoiler alert, the bad guy gets the blade at the end. And I'll be honest, I thought this was just a 4-issue series. And then on the last page, it says to be concluded. And it's like, I've already read 4 out of 5. I'm gonna have to read the last issue, right? I mean, what's the big deal? I'm probably not gonna like it, but I might as well just see how the darn thing ends. But man, this is like, you know how every team book, movie, show, whatever starts, where everyone's just like bickering and throwing snarky comments, but then they all come together. They don't come together.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
snark.
How they got captured.
It's the snark the whole time, and it's just so old. It's either everyone's being snarky, or this guy's like, "Hey, remember, I like to bone everything." It's like, this sucks. And what frustrates me the most is that, like, it's an Aftershock book, and Aftershock as a company cares enough about shops that I have an actual Aftershock ambassador that comes to my store once a month to see how things are going and if there's anything they can do to promote Aftershock. I love Aftershock comics. It just sucks that, like, this is one of those books where I'm like, oh, this, like, a lot of Aftershock stuff is horror, which I'm not into, but I'm like, oh, this is one that I can get into and I want to support them. And it sucks.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. This is probably like a 4. Like, it's just, the art's good and like the action scenes are good with all the sword play, but I just can't stand the dialogue. And at the end, I think is when they're finally all just gonna set aside their differences and beat the bad guy because it's the last issue. But it's like, dude, we should have been there a long time ago. So
I have a ridiculously stupid and terrible thing. What if, like, they get to the Vatican and they find the secret room and they're like, oh, the sword's in here. They open it and it's just a bunch of missing kid dead bodies.
Oh, that's terrible.
And they're like, we have to like bring this to light, and it just becomes this weird thing, like, where they're now trying to expose the Catholic Church.
Dude, at least that would be like a twist. Or be like, I did not see this coming.
Like, the villain even shows up. He's like, oh my god, yeah, I'll gladly
like, guys,
help
we
you.
have to tell people.
Yeah, this is terrible. Like, I'm a bad guy, but oh my goodness.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, but then a genuine question about Aftershock, since you built them up pretty good and it's spooky season, is there an Aftershock comic that's like going to be coming out that you and me can just talk about on the podcast that's extra spooky?
You know, I'll find one, and I'm sure if there's not one that's like coming out this month, I'll find one that is already out and done and send you a copy, and we can read it and talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Remind me to do that.
Okay. All right, and then next up for me, it's again, I'm breaking the flow. I'm actually really like this. It's the Nice House on the Lake, book 5, and this is by James Tynion with they're all at the top. Alvaro Martinez Bueno and Jordi Belair on with the art duties and the color duties. And like, the art's really great, but this is another one of those things where it's like Jordi Belair just elevates things 100%. They're like, stuff's so good. And then, like, they find they were going through all of their notes, everything that they know about this place, because they at their last issue they found out, oh, we can't die. And so they, one of the people, like, laid out their notes what they found, and they had all these statues and all of these, like, this one just black building that's made of this stuff that feels like glass, but there's no doors in or out. And so, like, they shot it out, like they had guns in the basement too, and explosives, which they don't know, like, why is this here if we can't die? So they go, they go there with the weapons, and they're gonna basically blow a hole into it so they can do it. And they shoot it first, nothing happens. They set the explosives, nothing. Like, it just blows a hole in the ground next to it. The thing is still standing. And so then they realize they all have these, like, little insignias, like it's at the top of the comic. Each one is a different name, like the comedian, the doctor, blah blah blah. And they notice that. So, like, what if we all touch these at the same time? And then we say, like, open. And they do, it opens. There's another person in there. He's like, guys, hey, remember me? Like, like, one of your guys is also friends, and there's still time. We can still save everybody. And that's how it ends. And it's like, boy, this was such a trip this week. It was so good. I really loved it. Like, I'm gonna probably give it a 9 out of 10. It might have helped that, like, I was reading this in between reading the Wonder Woman and the Are You Afraid of the Darkseid? So it's like, this was such a different feel than all, those ones, that it, like, made me like it even more. But yeah, 9 out of 10. It was so good.
I'm glad that you finally told me what all those symbols mean, because every time it comes out, I'm like, I have no idea what these are.
Like, it looks like, because it's also like every issue, it, like, focuses on one of them. So, like, when they're highlighted, it's like, oh, it's this guy this week, type of thing.
Yeah. So you think there'll be one issue per symbol? Or
that's what's coming, like, so far, because I think it's I don't remember how many issues that was announced, but yeah, because it's at book 5 and it's on the 5th symbol. So
okay, I guess so then.
It's hard to say. Tynan could be like, well, I'm actually going to do 2,000 more of these. That's just how far I have it planned.
All right. So did you read Darkhold or no?
No, I just read, like, the only one that I have left that we haven't read, that we didn't read together, was Spooderman.
Okay, then I will do Darkhold Alpha. This is written by Steve Orlando, and art was done by Cian Tormey. And I actually thought this was pretty cool. I'm pretty lukewarm on Steve Orlando in general, but this was neat. So yeah, Wanda gets, like, this nightmare vision and realizes that it's all because of the, like, god or whatever that created the Darkhold. And she's like, that means somebody's close to finding it if the god that we trapped in the other realm, I think is what it's called, is, like, reaching out to me via nightmare. So she goes to the site where she feels its power. And who has dug up the Darkhold but Doom himself? And Wanda's like, hey, don't read the Darkhold, because no mortal has ever read it and not lost their mind. And Doom, in Doom fashion, is like, well, Doom hasn't read the Darkhold yet, and I can do it. And he actually can do it without going crazy, which is kind of terrifying if you think about it, because the Darkhold is a very powerful artifact. But anyway, Wanda's like, you can't have this book. You're too crazy, and this thing is too powerful. And he's like, look, I only want the Darkhold because this god is a rival of mine, and he wants to come and take over Earth, but only Doom can do that. So I'm going to use the Darkhold and then go to the other realm and kill this god. And Wanda's like, well, that's a terrible idea, because last time that this god was beaten and trapped in the other world, there were, like, 5 champions that put him there. And Doom is just, you know how he is. He's arrogant. And he's like, well, I don't need 5 people. I can do it myself. So he goes to the other realm, and Victorious, which is his like cosmically powered herald. I had no idea who that character was. Maybe they've been around forever. I have no idea. Um, but anyway, it's one of Doom's servants, and she was after Doom leaves. She's like, okay, I can summon a hero here that fits each one of those 5 uh, whatever champions from before. And Wanda's like, okay, do it, because nobody has gone to the other realm and survived, let alone come out sane. So I'm worried that Doom can't do this anyways. And if Doom can't do it, then we're in big trouble because Doom is amazing. I'm paraphrasing there, but you get it. So anyway, the Dreamer, she summons Iron Man. The Hunter, she summons Blade. The Artist is Wasp. The Stoic is Black Bolt. And the Fool is Spider-Man. And so all of them get transported there. Wanda lays out the whole thing. She's like, look, I need you guys to read enough of the Darkhold that you can kind of like temper your mind to where you can go to the other realm and not go insane, basically. She's like, but you guys might go insane and you might die, but we need to do this because the billions of people on Earth are more important than the 5 of you. And some stuff happens, but eventually they all agree. But at the end, it turns out that while it seemed like they could all handle it at first, they couldn't. So they all like turn into evil versions of themselves. And instead of being the Darkhold defenders, they turn into the Darkhold defiled. And they look pretty crazy. I don't know, Casey, if you can, is that good enough? Can you see them?
Can you raise it up a little bit?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like the Iron Man look a good bit. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're all pretty neat. So anyway, we'll see what happens. That's really where it ends. I'm a huge fan of a few of these designs, though, in particular Spider-Man. He looks crazy awesome. But anyway, each of these characters will be getting a one shot, and then there's an Omega issue where I assume it wraps up or they all come together and do what they're going to do. But it was cool. I like how Wanda and Doom were written. I think Steve Orlando wrote them well. It's like we've said before, he can do some like zany stuff like this and it can pay off, and this one pays off. So I like the creepy magic stuff. I'm interested to see what this team does together, because it's not weird that some of them are together, but like Blade and Black Bolt working with them, I think, is out of the ordinary. So yeah, we'll see where it goes, but it was cool. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. It would have been really funny to me if when they're doing the different champions, like they're naming off all of them, like, and instead of like the last one, they were like, and then the duck is Howard the Duck. Be like, why is one of the champions just a duck?
I mean, would it surprise you though, Steve Orlando of all writers put Howard the Duck in this?
No, that'd be awesome. I'd be all about that. I'd be like, man, mad I missed it. Okay, so next for me is the Amazing Spider-Man issue 75. I'm gonna find all 50 creators if you just give me a couple hours. I'll really quick as I'm looking, I'll say like some of the different things. We get Ben Reilly in this. So okay, yeah. Amazing Spider-Man was by Zeb Wells and Patrick Gleason on the art. The art is outstanding. The story itself, pretty solid. And then I'll just mention the other one. So we have a Kelly Thompson story with art by Travel Foreman. And then another story right here. And this is by Zeb Wells and Ivan Fiorelli on the art. And then you got a little thing to kind of show you the stuff for Ben Reilly Spider-Man, written by J.M. DeMatteis, drawn by David Baldion. So that's the whole creative team. First story was actually really good. It's Peter thinking back, to his loss of Harry and I'm assuming the last issue. I think Harry's back in hell, and so while he's swinging, he sees another Spider-Man and he chases after him, but then couldn't get to him, and then Ben Reilly runs into him and he kind of tells him basically what happened. I guess there was when Peter had the Parker Industries, he had a copyright for the Spider-Man, but then Peter that went up and a whole new company bought the copyright and added a bunch of tech, and they have Ben Reilly now as their, Spider-Man with all this fancy tech and all this fun stuff. And so he's now like a corporate Spider-Man. And then so Pete's like down on his luck. A bunch of crap's happened since I last saw it, but then the UFOs show up. So Pete shows up to fight him, and Ben shows up too. But Ben had a whole corporation next to him, and they prepped his suit for it. So when this like nuclear like attack goes off, he doesn't get any nuclear poison. He just ends up beating them. He saves the day. Peter's not so lucky, and he's not looking so good, and that's how the issue ends, which that was pretty dang cool. Then the next story, it's a Misty Knight and Colleen Wing story, and that's pretty neat. Like seeing them, I really liked it, but it's also like, when does this come into play? Like, what's going on here? It's three pages really, so it's like this is really pointless in my opinion. And the next story, it's another one of these ones where it's like, they're kind of adding a little bit more, but there's not much that goes on. So it's just, again, mildly pointless. So it's pretty good, and it's a hefty book, but it's like, we didn't need 2 backup stories. Just give us one and kind of give us more info. But I like this a lot. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's, like I said, the main story is pretty rad. And then look at this folder on Art Adams cover. Yeah, like, holy crap.
That's awesome.
Oh Lord, a little bit. There we go.
I like Ben's suit. It's cool.
Yeah. And I'm liking all the Ben Reilly stuff, and the main art, it's outstanding. Patrick Gleason's killing it.
As always.
Yeah.
Okay. My final book before our 3 mutuals is Arkham City, The Order of the World. And it's written by Dan Waters and illustrated by Danny. Dude, I love this. This was like peak Vertigo spooky DC stuff,
Yeah.
So and I think it looks like it too. I mean, this is sort of like Sandman Mystery Theater almost. But anyway, when A-Day happened, A-Day being Joker's attack on Arkham during the Joker War, and everybody escaped Arkham. So this psychiatrist doctor is going around with a detective to crime scenes, because a lot of it is, the crime done was by her patients, basically. So they're trying to use her to help catch these people again. And they first capture the rat catcher, the guy one, not the lady, before he eats a child, which I thought was pretty dark, but it's whatever. And then I don't know, for like each case, she's got a lot of cases, like case files here. For each case, it shows what that villain is up to. So there's Ratcatcher, there's Professor Pig, there's Mad Hatter, I think Dr. Phosphorus and Nocturna are in a page. And then the spooky villain, who I think is new, called the Ten-Eyed Man. And he has eyeballs in his fingertips and none on his face, or at least he's wearing a mask. So, and he sits in like really creepy ways. Like he's terrifying. I do not want to see this man ever.
See, that's usually how I sit, just to get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. Just totally bend your spine in half.
Yep.
But anyway, the doctor, it's told from her perspective. She's kind of like saying what's wrong with all of them, and like sometimes with the progress she's made with them. Um, but the part that really intrigued me, apart from the spookiness, is somebody is also tracking down these villains. You see who that is, Casey? Any guesses there?
That's Azrael, right?
It is. And you know I love Azrael, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited that he is going to be involved in some manner. But anyway, the main focus, apart from the Tin-Eyed Man, is Mad Hatter because they get to a crime scene and there's some people, dressed up like the March Hare and I'm blanking on the lady's name. But anyway, they're all like burnt up, like their flesh is melted and stuff. But when they get there, one of the guys turns out he's still alive. So they get some medics and they're like, we got to find Mad Hatter. We don't know where he is. The issue makes us think that Azrael got to Mad Hatter, so we don't actually find out what happened to him. But then the doctor lady is like, oh man, what a crazy night. I'm going to go home. And when she gets home, the Tin-Eyed Man is in her apartment. And then she says, I told you not to go out. I can't keep you safe if you're leaving the apartment. And it's like, oh crap. She's like helping these people instead
Yeah.
of like helping these people. Um, it's weird, man, because like earlier in the issue, this is like huge spoilers and stuff, but earlier in the issue we see the Tin-Eyed Man like capture this guy, tie him up, and he's like, I need to perform a ritual, but I need some human teeth, so I'm gonna take yours. And the guy's like, please don't hurt me. And he's like, I won't. And then we get to this scene with the doctor where he's in her apartment and he's like, well, I needed some teeth for this ritual, so here's this guy's jawbone. And we find out that like the police find this guy's body and he had no jaw, but there was like no cut wounds or anything. The jaw is just like gone. So it's like, well, how is he doing this? It's really, really creepy. Um, anyway, basically the doctor lady is going to help the Ten-Eyed Man with his ritual, and that's how it ends. As he hands her the bloody jaw with teeth from this guy, and then it says next, the bloody order of Azrael. So, man, I loved this. This was like, if we're talking like spooky issues, this is what I wanted out of the Are You Afraid of Darkseid? Like this was creepy. It got me like, ooh,
Yeah.
I loved it and I can't wait to see where it goes. This is 10 out of 10. It was the book of the week for me.
Nice, man. You gonna check out I think it's what the trying to think the Gotham whatever book that's coming out this week that's got Azrael in it too. The Urban Legends.
Oh yeah, I did plan on reading that.
Because I was like, oh, is Grifter gonna be it this week? I'm like, oh no, okay, never mind. Okay, so we just got our mutuals now.
Yes.
Okay, how much time we got left?
20 minutes.
Okay, so let's get through Batman, then we can talk about our two spooky books, even though one's not spooky. So Batman by Tynan and Jorge Jimenez, and this is another Fear State tie-in. The art in it's really, really great, but I think the story's lacking. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean it's mostly an action book and the action is done well and some of
I
the
mean,
full pages. Yeah, I mean the art is just stellar
yeah, there's
as always.
another one that I was like just blown away by. Yeah, this one.
Uh-huh. I
Like
agree.
if I could buy that original art, if I could afford that, that'd be amazing.
I know, right?
But
Yeah, otherwise story, I mean it is what it is. I like I like that Molly is gonna like actually play a part and help instead of just be kind of a throwaway character. I thought that whenever they went underground, that was like, okay, no more of Molly, but she's actually gonna help, and I like that.
See, I mean, I figured she'd be a big part because Tynan loves his own characters a lot. So, I mean, he knew she wasn't gonna go away. But yeah, I don't know. This is just like Fear State as a whole, I've just not really enjoyed too much, and this is just kind of more of the same as far as this stuff goes. The art's great, but it just doesn't. It didn't do much for me as far as storytelling.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think of the Clown Hunter story?
Dude, I mean, you couldn't have paid me to read it. I mean, you
Yeah.
could have probably, but I wasn't gonna read it otherwise. And like I looked at the art, didn't like it. It looked like you said, the second part was the same story, right?
Yep.
This was almost the exact same except for the final page.
Yeah, this is by Brandon Thomas and Jason Howard, and basically it's him falling some more, and then this time he kind of like finally kind of like stands up to the clown though, and then he gets saved though by, I'm just gonna spoil it because you don't need to read it, by Tim, which it's like that was what was kind of stupid to me. It should have been Jason that saves him. I mean, at least they're like this is making it seem more and more that he's, Batman Urban Legends is going to be more of a Tim book, which I guess is kind of cool if you're a Tim Drake fan, because that's when they said where it says it's going to be continued. But it's like, I don't know, Clown Hunter fits so much better with Jason instead of with Tim.
Plus, I mean, the Secret Origins book,
Yeah,
you know, it's
exactly.
like you
So
could have
I mean,
continued that.
I really think they should have. I mean, so yeah, I don't know. And it's so weird that like Jason's the one that he would have the most in common with, but then Tim's like, I don't know about this battering killing baseball bat, but I think you got promise. And he's like, huh, boy, do I. Let's be best friends. It's like, is it just because he's closer to your age? Is that the big thing?
Yeah, because everyone else, he's just like, nah, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. The angst is real unless it's someone that, is also in a bright red outfit that can easily be shot at too. That's my age, because I mean Red Hood doesn't count apparently. I don't know. But what would you rate it?
Higher than you, I imagine. Without reading the Clown Hunter thing, I think it's like a solid 7.
Yeah,
Perfectly
I mean,
fine. There's nothing that I like hated. Art was amazing, story was whatever.
yeah, art's carrying this book for me. It's gonna be a 5 out of 10. It's just like, and that backup story is just so pointless. But the main story I'm just not carrying. And then it's like we had some really cool stuff with old Ghostmaker last time, and then nothing this time, and nothing nothing with Harley. And then like we get a cool fight, but then the guy that's trying to fix Gotham just seems like he's a bumbling moron right now. It's like, how does Future State happen with this guy? Like this guy, he's not that bright. Like what the heck? So yeah, I'm just not feeling it so far.
All right. Now we've got the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary, 100-page, super spectacular. I didn't make that up. That's the actual title of it.
Yep.
All right, we're down to 15 minutes. So if we want to get through both of these big books, we need to be quick.
Yeah.
All right, so
So
the first one is In Memoriam by Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan, art by Jim Chung. What'd you think of this one?
art's really good, but I don't know. Is this a book that is better if you've been reading Wonder Woman? Because I was like pretty lost. I mean, it's kind of neat in parts, but it's also like I don't know what the heck's going on really.
I mean, I would assume that the answer to your question is yes, because in the Wonder Woman title, everyone thinks she died and she's been hopping around different realities.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I got you, man.
I still like, even being one that's read Wonder Woman, this wasn't that great to me.
I gotcha. Okay, and then I mean, you done talking about this one since we're trying to rush. Okay, so next is Dreamers by Jordi Belair and Paulina Ganucci on the art. Oh shit, shoot. Like,
Yeah, it was. Wait, is this the young Diana one?
yeah,
Okay, then yeah, I actually this is one of my favorite ones of the whole book.
I liked it. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites, but I did like it, and it 100% made me go, because I was on the fence about buying Young Diana for my niece, but now I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to get this for her, even though she's only, gonna turn 2.
Yeah, well, I think the young Diana special is out next week.
Okay, cool.
That'll be, I assume, this size, but all about her. So it
Yeah.
also made me consider checking that out. I thought it was, like I said, in comparison to some of the others in this book, this was one of the high notes for me. And the colors are amazing.
Yeah. And then we got Fresh Catch, and I like this one. I love the art, and it's kind of funny. It's like the Golden Age books, like in this and Aquaman both, are like usually like the most, like some of the most fun of these. When they have these big books, and I thought this was just a good fun time. Diana, it's just very Golden Agey, and the art in it is really really cool. Did you like this one?
It was fine. I loved the art more than the story. I mean, this was more of a Etta and the girls story.
I mean,
And
there. In all fairness, there wasn't much story really. It's just Wonder Woman's caught. She got the other people to help her out, and then they beat the sexist sailors, the old SS.
yeah, I don't know. Like I'll share more of my thoughts at the end.
Okay.
The next
Oh, we didn't say that
is
the creative team. That was
oh,
Amy Reeder with Marissa Luis on the colors, and Amy Reeder did the writing and the art on that.
right. Okay, then we've got Dear Diana by Mark Waid and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. This was also one of the high notes for me.
This
I
was my favorite.
Yeah, it was written very well. Jose has still got it, in my
Yep.
opinion. He's incredible. Yeah, I just thought everybody was written so well, and it's kind of got that old school feel, and it was great. I just love the interactions between characters.
Same. I do really quick want to call out Mark Waid. He once said at a panel that we both were at, he could never write Wonder Woman. He never had a story for it, and he's wrong because this was really good.
Yeah, yeah, I loved it.
Okay, and then next is Dated by Tom King and Evan Dockshainer. And yeah, the art in this is really good, but the story itself is pretty lame. I mean, we get some depowered Wonder Woman stuff where she gets to fight some people, and that looks pretty cool, but it's just kind of like, this is, for those that are listening that went on Twitter after this came out, this is Superman's a cop book or story. So yeah, it was just pretty lame, I thought.
It wasn't great. I'll say this, it's better than I thought it was going to be from Tom King, just because I have it in my mind that he's not good. um, but I mean, he just really pushed the, hey, this is set in the 70s. Listen
Yeah.
to this dialogue, guys. It's the 70s.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, he's gonna make Clark and Diana like a thing. And I don't like that. But then by the end, that wasn't it. And so I was like, okay, I guess it's whatever. But I just didn't really like how Wonder Woman was written in it.
Yeah, neither did I. And then Better Angels by Vita Ayali and Isaac Goodhart on the art. And I really like this one too. So it's, Wonder Woman versus Cheetah, but then it's also like Wonder Woman has to appeal to Cheetah's goodness. And I thought that was just really good.
And I loved the art.
Yes, the art is fantastic in that one.
Yeah, this was also in my top 3 for the book.
And then we got Saturn Rising by Steve Orlando and Laura Braga on the art. And this one I felt very lost by, but I did enjoy. Like, I love the art. I thought the art looked fantastic, and the story itself was pretty fun. Like, Wonder Woman is pretty cool in it, but it's just kind of like one of those things where the story itself, I'm like, I feel like I'm in the middle of something here.
I disagree.
Really?
Kindly. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that was kind of confusing is like, how do they decide who's going to be Wonder Woman at what time?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just every year they're supposed to fight somebody from Saturn, but then Diana, when it's her turn to be Wonder Woman, decides to go to Saturn and help the person liberate them from their evil emperor. Like,
yeah, but the whole
totally
like
fine.
the whole Saturn thing, I don't know. I just felt like that was a bit, I don't know. I was just like, I'm kind of lost on this whole Saturn thing, but I'm cool with it. I think thought it was a fun story.
Yeah, again, I was like, not bad, Steve, not bad.
Yeah. And look at you defending your long rival Steve Orlando.
I know.
You're coming around, man.
I am.
And then Mortal Mysteries by Stephanie Phillips and Marcio Takara on the art. And yeah, I thought this was pretty neat. Just, pretty fine. The art in it's fantastic.
Yeah, you know that I was all about the art because I love
Yeah.
Marcio. But I thought Wonder Woman was written so well. Like, I loved her just showing up at this college professor's speech at the end. I mean, that's something that she would do. I thought the mythology stuff was really cool in it. Definitely one of the better stories.
And I agree, I did like that one. And last one for me, or not for me, for this book is Low Orbit by G. Willow Wilson and Megan Hetrick on the art. And yeah, I thought that like this is one of those ones where like the concept's weird, but Wonder Woman is very much written as Wonder Woman would be. So I mean, that was really cool. Like it's one of those things where it's like I didn't care about this main concept at all, but they did a good job writing Wonder Woman.
Yeah, this one was more of a miss for me. The art was cool. I like Wonder Woman's design, but I don't know. I just couldn't care, especially after
Yeah.
reading some of these other like way better ones. And here's what I want to say about this book in general. This wasn't like the other anniversary issues. Like we
Yeah.
should have had a Cassie story, a Donna story, even Artemis, like one that's focused on Hippolyta or Hippolyta, if you're Casey. I don't know why they didn't do that. Like
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I'll say this. One of the reasons why I think they didn't is because it's Wonder Woman's it's more like a Superman type thing where when you don't think of John when you think of Superman, you think of Clark. You don't think of these other one. You think of Diana. My main thing that's kind of annoys me is they should have got more people that are like known writers of Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Like
Why
try to
didn't
get
we get Azarello and Chang to do a
yeah,
mini?
get that. Get like I'm trying to think of like other like big time writers that
George
didn't.
Perez.
That's the one. That's the name I was actually thinking of, but I couldn't think of it for some reason. Like get Perez in there.
Even Rucka.
Get Rucka. Rucka has a
Gail
have to.
Simone.
Simone, like get these people in there to do this type of book because that's what we've kind of got with these other ones,
Yeah.
So that just makes more sense to me, but whatever. And so last is Are You Afraid of Darks? Oh wait, what would you rate this book?
Man, I'm at like a 6, and that hurts to say because I was really excited for this.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm in the same exact boat. Like there was too many of them that just kind of lulled for me. Where I mean, the high points were pretty high, but there was too many just like, eh.
Yeah. We have
Okay.
7 minutes, dude.
Okay, Are You Afraid of the Darkseid? So the first thing, like it starts with the Teen Titans, and they're kind of like the narrators, and it's Elliot Callan writing and Mike Norton on the art, and it's the old Rebirth Teen Titans team, and they're all just sitting around a campfire telling these different stories. In the first main story, though, it's Harley Quinn and Darkseid and Bloody Mary by Kenny Porter writing and Max Dunbar on the art. And did you like this one?
Oh yeah, it was fun. I mean, it wasn't like outstanding, but I liked the concept of this Bloody Mary. I just think it's silly that the Darkseid himself would come down and do what he was doing.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. I like the end though with Mirror Master. I was like, because I was thinking about that the whole time. What's Mirror Master doing with this?
Yeah.
But then the next is Batman and Mad Hatter and Backseat Killer by Calvin Luke and Rob Guillory on the art. And I really like this one a lot, obviously because of the art, but then also the fact that I love this story. Like this is an old story, like that like urban legend story with the semi truck driver, but they changed it up a little bit. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, it was cool. It was neat to see Rob do like a big 2 thing.
Yeah. And then next is John Stewart and Escape the Dark Fortress. And I thought that one was pretty neat.
I liked it too. It was pretty great to see how John views his fellow Green Lanterns of Earth. Pretty touching.
Yeah. And then after that, we had probably my favorite one, and that's The Phantom Stranger and the Endless Staircase. And I do have a question about this. Who is the artist that's his favorite artist that he then takes up the staircase?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I assume it's, like an OG of some sort, but I have
Yeah.
no idea.
All right. And then I like the fact that he takes whoever killed Bruce's parents up. I thought that was really cool. And
Dude, like
then,
apart from the part with Bruce, I really didn't dig this.
really?
It was just like kind of confusing and weird.
Yeah. See, the first two, I was like, this is confusing. I didn't quite get it. But then, like, after it kept, I'm like, oh, okay, I actually really like this. But I get you, man. Aquaman, Aqualad, and the Ogopoco. And this is by Ed Bryson with Christopher Mitten on the art. And yeah, this one was pretty fun too. The end kind of got a little
Get some
confusing
Loch
though.
Ness monster.
Yeah. Hey, it's the Ogopogo. It's a real thing, completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wonder Woman and Vixen and Black Eyed Kids. This one annoyed me because the Black Eyed Kids, you do not let them into your house. They are not nice. Like when you actually hear the stories, when people let them in their house, they get cancer. It's a real thing that, people talk about.
But nobody did let them into the house.
Well, but it turns out they're nice little animals. They're little good guys. They're little guys, getting just need little scratchies.
I actually kind of like this one. I thought the art was awesome. I
No,
love the color
the art is
palette.
great, but I was just annoyed because it's like now someone's gonna get a black-eyed kid come to their house and like, huh, this is probably a little puppy. I'm gonna go let it in, and then they're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then last is Superman and Lois Lane in the Cellar, and this is by Jeremy Hahn and Tony Atkins doing the pencils. I really like this one too. I thought this was a lot of fun. You get Lois being as cool as she should be in a situation like this, and yeah, it was just a good time.
I agree. This was definitely one of the better ones. I thought Clark played it smart, and it was spooky.
Yeah, I'd give this as a whole I'm probably just sitting at a 7, but I did like it.
I think that's where I'm at with the two. It wasn't disappointing like the Wonder Woman story, but nothing was just like, oh man, this was amazing.
Yeah. So that is our comics, man. What are you excited about for next week?
Let's see. I am probably going to say the Darkhold Iron Man because the Darkhold Alpha got me interested in this. I'll say Wonder Woman 780 because this is like her return to normal Earth after everyone thinks she's dead. So that should be pretty interesting. And then I'm going to say Moon Knight because I've been digging that series.
Nice, dude. So I'm going to say for sure Titans United because I love that first issue. No, I'm kidding. Superman and the Authority because that should be pretty awesome. I'm gonna go Immortal Hulk number 50 because it's finally over, and Blue and Gold number 3.
Excellent. Oh, I was gonna ask you, are you gonna check out that audio adventure special since you were
No,
listening to it?
no, I listened to the first one and then like I didn't like it enough to listen to the second one. Like it's perfectly fine, but it's just a little too silly, and I'm listening to a bunch of other stuff, so I just didn't get, probably not gonna get around to doing that again.
All
right, so now it's a Fantastic Four time. So I was just thinking, because my co-host has probably the best head of hair you'll ever see. So I was just thinking to myself, who in comic books has the best hair? So give me your top 4.
Well, probably my biggest inspiration, I'm going to say Booster Gold is up there. When Bruce is doing like Playboy Bruce, it's hard not to pick him. He's just got that classic timeless hair,
Yeah.
It looked good back in the 40s and it still looks good today. We'll say 90s mullet Superman.
Heck yeah. We're ways off, people. If you want to see Casey's 2020 mullet Superman.
Casey's trying really hard, guys.
I know, it'd be
really
great.
Hard. And then, I don't know. I'm gonna go like Wonder Woman because
Okay.
she's had like a lot of different hair looks over the years, and they always look great. What about
I'm
you?
kind of surprised Nightwing wasn't on your list.
His is like, I like his, but I don't know. It's not one that I would like do for me.
I got you, man. Well, just so you know, none of mine are ones I would do for me. Because like my number one, Starfire. The original Starfire, that's a gorgeous head of hair.
Yeah.
And then who would be a good number two?
The Creeper.
Dude, just wait till you hear my two Marvels, because I got two. I'm gonna do another DC, then I'm gonna go to my Marvels. And I was gonna say Nightwing, but I'm like, I already brought that one up. Kind of, he gets an honorary. Trying to think of another one that would be good. I'm gonna keep thinking. I'll say my first Marvel, Medusa, best hair in comics, hands down. Literally, she's just got the hair. Stupidest power, but and then I'll say, man, this is harder than I thought for that other DC. I'm trying to think of a dude, because I got a dude for Marvel, so I'm trying to think. I'll go Lobo. I love some Lobo hair. I would kill to have that.
Just pure chaos on top.
Oh yeah. And then my number one dude for Marvel, Sasquatch.
I respect it. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the episode, folks. So we'll do the closing plugs. If you would, please visit facebook.com/2worldspodcast and give the page a like. You can also find us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC. Also on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can also email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com, and find us on YouTube, and that's just 2worlds podcast.
And leave us a comment. Say talk about your favorite hair related superheroes.
Yeah.
And tell us this. Who's got better hair, me or Jake? It's Jake. See, he just laughs. He's like, that's hilarious. That's even a discussion. But we'd love to stay in chat, but we're about to go face the 90s Bulls, and we're gonna finally beat them, I swear. Bye, guys.
Bye.